John LeBoutillier is one of the wisest guys in America. He was a congressman, he is a pundit, an author, and a radio host. At least very soon he will be. John LeBoutillier has helped us through many of the contemporary issues in the United States over the last 4 or 5 years that I've been here on the radio. And there's never been a more important time to hear from him. John LeBoutillier, thanks for joining us. Do you agree with my analysis that something important changed in America last Saturday?
Oh, there's no doubt about it, George. You could feel it by that night, by Sunday, certainly Monday, and then the president's fantastic speech on Tuesday night. Maybe it was Wednesday night. Yeah, it was Wednesday night. This country is just in a state of mourning, but other things besides mourning, too. There's sort of an ongoing series of debates about political discourse, guns, civility in politics, all sorts of stuff that's being talked about. And we don't know where it's all going to go, but it's only going to go to good places. You know, it's only going to help the country.
Now, the president certainly rose to the occasion, didn't he? It was quite extraordinary speech he made.
It was exactly the right speech at the right time, given the right way, by a president. You know, Obama, my criticisms of Obama during his first 2 years is pretty consistent, that I really didn't think he knew how to be president. He knew how to be head of the Democratic Party, you know, and he knew how to get the Democrats in Congress to pass the stuff he wanted, and he did. But there's more. You know, being president means being my president, not just the Democrats' president. And at big times like this, dragging me along in admiration of what he's trying to do and what he's saying. And Reagan learned how to do it, and he did it very well. And Obama really did it for the first time the other night.
Now, Sarah Palin's bubble has surely burst.
No, I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. George, you and I don't really get her bubble, but her bubble exists inside the conservative movement among, I'm going to say, 20% or so of the Republican Party. The base of the Republican Party, 20% of them love Sarah Palin, and the more she's under attack, the more solidified they are behind her, because they're aggrieved people over something. I don't know what it is, but whatever makes them unhappy, they take their unhappiness and they vent it by supporting Sarah Palin. And the more she's under attack, and this latest thing with the blood libel and all, has made her, even among those 20%, absolutely more popular. Among the other people, the independents, certainly the Democrats, forget it. I mean, they can't stand Sarah Palin. But I keep arguing with my girlfriend every week about this thing, that Sarah Palin is going to be a factor in the coming presidential race one way or the other. She's either going to run, and I know you don't maybe want to get into all this. But
no, I do.
Okay, so she's going to be a major factor, and you as a politician and your listeners who probably like politics will understand it in England the same way you'd understand it over here. When people vote over here, if 20% are voting for Sarah Palin, that 20% is not available to vote for Mitt Romney or Huckabee or one of these other guys. And therefore, that 20% is off the table. And now these other candidates got to hunt around for votes elsewhere, whereas they can't get her 20%. Now, if she doesn't run, if she were to announce, I'm not running for president, okay, those 20% are on the table for anybody to go after. But she's not going to tell us for the longest period of time that she's not going to run, because she's making millions of dollars from giving speeches and being on TV. And the reason people are so fascinated with her, including you and I were talking about her, is because she might run. The minute she says, I'm not running, well, then who cares about her? You know, it's irrelevant then.
Now, talking about those on TV and on radio, it's also been a bad week, hasn't it, for the Glenn Becks, the fanatic, volcanic individual on Fox News, and Rush Limbaugh, the king of talk radio. These types of people who spew out their hate speech and their accusations of treachery against all and sundry, they are being blamed by many in the United States for what happened in Tucson.
Well, on that one, I think that as time goes on, not many people any longer think that that blame is fair. That even Obama in his speech on Wednesday night did say that the nasty political discourse of which those two guys are definitely a part, that did not contribute to this crime. I mean, we now know this guy, Mr. Loeffner, who allegedly did the shooting, he's mentally unstable. His best friend said he never watched TV, didn't listen to political radio, and was, if anything, a liberal Democrat. So I really don't think that the right-wing talk radio people are going to, in the end, be blamed for this thing. But they are, in their own way, injected a nastiness into the American political debate. And George, since you and I have gotten to know each other on your show, I think you know me enough through the telephone to know that you're a liberal and I'm a conservative, but we have never uttered a cross word at each other on all these nice interviews you've conducted of me.
No.
And we never would. I just don't believe in that. I can argue with you and would like to because it's fun, but it's not the same as screaming, yelling, and saying you're a bloody communist who wants to ruin the world. I mean, that's just, you know...
It's about delegitimation, isn't it? I mean, when I hear Limbaugh say that the president is a traitor to the country, well, we know what happens to traitors. You can say the president is wrong. You can even say he's mad. But to say he's a traitor is to make an attack on the very integrity of a person in a way which could be, in a country like yours, fatal.
Well, that's true. But what kills me is my advent personally into elected politics came with Reagan, okay? And whether you liked Reagan, and I suspect George Galloway did not dig Ronald Reagan, which is fine, but Ronald Reagan's style was to always be genial about disagreement and to use humor and a smile, not a nasty, wicked shiv shoved into the back of someone. And after Reagan left the scene and the Bushes took over, the Republican Party, their attitude, this gigantic chip on their shoulder, took over the conservative movement. And conservatism in America has changed. You know, not just the philosophy. That really hasn't. It's the approach has become nasty, mean, not trying to win people over. It's basically saying, hey, buddy, it's your way or the highway. And it doesn't work right. It's not a wise way to go.
What about the guns now, John? Because, of course, this man drooling and hearing voices and snarling at imaginary enemies as he was, only managed to do what he did because in the United States, certainly in Arizona, you're able to go into Walmart or any kind of supermarket and buy an automatic weapon and the bullets to fire it with. Is anything ever going to break America's love affair with guns?
I would say no. I would say nothing's going to change on guns. Even the Republican Party is totally pro-gun. And the Democratic Party, beginning around 2000 when Al Gore ran for president, he was smart enough to realize politically now, not morally, but politically, you really can't get elected if you're anti-gun in America. Yes, you can get elected in New York City and certain liberal areas. But your term is correct. America has a love affair with guns, and any politician who talks about taking guns away is is labeled a traitor by the Rush Limbaugh wing of things.
So, when all's said and done, when the dust from this affair settles, who are the winners and who are the losers from all of this?
Well, okay, a couple things. I think politically Obama is a winner because I think he really elevated himself up above partisanship. I think he's a winner. I think there will be, George, and I think it was coming anyway. We have the State of the Union address a week from this coming Tuesday, and there's a move afoot to have all the Republicans and Democrats at our State of the Union, both the Senate and the House, and various other people, all come to the House chamber to watch the speech.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, the Republicans sit on the right side, the Democrats sit on the left. There's a move, and I think it may happen, to have all the Congress sit with each other, Democrat, Republican, so there's no one side versus the other side. Symbolic, but it might be symbolic of a little bit more of a bipartisan move that might be coming. Not on every issue, but we just had it on this tax cut extension where Obama made a deal with the Republicans, and it's popular across the board. Democrats like it, Republicans, independents, and everybody's ratings have gone up because of it. I think the country wants our two parties to work together, and they're sick of this constant sniping and badgering and moaning against each other, you know?
Now, lastly, John, Obama more likely to get a second term as a result of these last few days than he was before they happened?
Yes, a little bit more, and a little bit more because of the tax cut deal if it spurs economic growth. Now, while the Tucson thing's been going on, we just got new first-time job layoffs and applications for unemployment insurance, and it went way up in the last week, which could mean that our economy really is not recovering quickly and therefore not creating new jobs. And as sad as it is to say, but this Tucson deal will fade in time. And if next fall and a year from now, you and I are on here talking and unemployment hasn't gotten substantially better, Obama's going to be politically in trouble because the country can't take it, you know.
Now, John, I'm speaking in Dearborn next Saturday, God willing, and then I'll be in New York City Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the following week. Let's see if we can't get together at some stage.
All right, we're going to make a date right now. Tuesday the 25th.
Tuesday the 25th. Will you be in New York?
I'll be in New York, have an 11 a.m. doctor appointment, and when that's over, we will rendezvous and have lunch on me.
Fabulous, John. I'll be there. No, it's got to be on me because you've done a lot of unpaid work here on first the mother of all talk shows and then The Week. The great John LeBoutillier and I will be lunching in New York City on Tuesday. We will not announce over the airwaves at which particular restaurant in case his enemies or mine decide to come along and put a custard pie in our face or something. 08717 223344. That's the number to call. Tell me what you think of what you've heard so far.